Welcome back. And today I'm going to show you another Labyrinth ancient coin farm. But let me say first, I do not take any credit about this team. I found it on Reddit and I'm going to post the link in the description. If you want something very thorough, just go there, read everything, and you know everything that you want to. But if you want to just get a quick idea of it, here, let me show you it. So basically, you start at Labyrinth 5 or Nixied Labyrinth 5, teleport around here, and then go up to this boss, because this boss is a boss that gets the counter stance, but as standard buffs, which you're actually allowed to steal. Let me start first. You will see in a second, like now my Cdom is just going to use her as 3, give crit buff to Yufine, and basically the entire team too. And then I can burn to proc the boss's counter stance, which is Rimuru immediately going to steal. And give to the entire team, which is perfect. Also, buffs on Yufine are set, which is nice. And now just stuff happens here. Thank you very much. So now my Rimuru is going to finish him off. And if not, my Cdom still has a turn to do that. But he did. So what we are going to do now is basically, you can use this walk path here. Just straight up north, and until here. And then you just go it back over and over again, which is probably like the fastest way to get rid of your morale. Or you just do the old-fashioned teleport to get rid of all of your morale. Okay, and now I have minimum morale, so let's just head over here. We are basically going to start with the last boss of this map, since she starts the battle with an AoE, immediately going to get rid of your entire team besides Yufine, of course. And then it is on. She's a perfect start for your run because she has a lot of ads. She's a boss, so you are going to get a lot of counters in for your Yufine to just stack up the initial, well, buffs, that is. Okay, and now that this is done, let me show you what I'm also going to do usually. That is just finding another, like, enemy to fight. Just so that I can get enough souls for Archie to proc. Because there are still like 2 to 3 more bosses, which are good to have a nice setup to the start. But that one boss, which is probably even better than the Elysia fight, if that was Elysia. And the problem with that one is actually whenever he moves, he steals souls. So what you want to do for that is to, well, basically have Archie in already. So I can basically finish them off with Archie and have that one turn. And then just teleport to the other boss, which is over here in this area. So I just have to walk this path and immediately get to it. And yeah, with that, the setup is basically perfect. He also has 2 phases, like he has some attacks that cannot get countered, but at least he also has ads that always attack you, so higher chance to, well, get your counters in. And of course, if you would not run Erzfist like I do, you wouldn't get turns, so you would have an easier time with the setup even. But just that your runs would take longer because of lower damage and etc. But yeah, let's see you at the end of the run. Okay, and as you see now, I have cleared the entire map. It took me around like only 1.5 hours or maybe a little bit more. It always depends on how active you're actually looking at your screen and, well, how much damage your Yufine has, of course. And yeah, you see, 1477 ancient coins, a lot of materials, quote-unquote charms, even some bookmarks, etc. But yeah, let me show you my units. Okay, my Yufine, as you see, she has like basically 150 effect resist, so that she doesn't care about debuffs at all. Besides, one single enemy in this game can still stun her, but it's only a stun, so it doesn't matter too much. And like I said, it is only one single boss. A little bit of effectiveness so that she can actually deal with everything boss-like faster, because they have usually 50% resistance. As much damage as possible. Crit rate, she can basically run 0 crit rate, since she gets Cdom buff 50%, she gets Cdom imprint 12 or 15, I don't know right now, and she gets Archi. So she has at least plus 80 crit rate, and her standard crit rate is 23. So yeah, basically you can run her on 0 crit rate is what I want to say with that. Just go for the needed effect resist, as much damage as possible, and the effectiveness is just a bonus. Else Fist also helps pretty much, because since she is countering with 100% chance, you could actually justify the speed a little bit. Like only the from Earth's Fist. Don't give her any more speed than that. No speed buff, something like that. Just the Earth's Fist speed. Since she's still moving after the first turn of every single enemy and not before. So if they are one shot, perfect. She just gets that huge attack boost. Basically 50%, and since that artifact is also getting buffed now, 60%. And yeah, since she is running the counter buff, she doesn't need a counter gear or like any set at all. Okay, and I forgot to say, well, of course, she has to have the buff extension EE. Rimuru can be replaced with the Dark Rin, since she can also steal buff and give them the entire team. But I think Rimuru just does a perfect job, because he has a 100% chance to steal them and give them the entire team. And even has 2 chances. And besides that, usually it doesn't really matter what you have on him. If you would give him more DPS and he is actually strong enough to proc the counter stance on his own S3, that's even better, but it's not necessary at all. My Cdom has just gotten some random weird gear just to have a little bit of speed and basically way too much crit rate. All she has to do is crit with the S1 after giving the crit buff, so she has that initial 50% crit rate to begin with. And I think the counter enemy is even a light unit, so she could run even less, but just give her as much damage as possible on your spare gear for that, and of course a book, so that you can immediately soul burn her for the definite proc from the counter stance of the boss. And then of course there's Shooting Star Achates. Like on her, it totally doesn't matter at all what she's running. I know she still has the XP artifact, but that's from my old Labyrinth version still. She's even missing a gear. Because like I said, as long as she's not dying, it totally doesn't matter what kind of gear she runs. And of course she has to give the S2 before the boss dies. It's definitely not hard. And as you see, the 15% effect resist with my 137 on Yufine. Even when Shooting Star Achates dies, she still keeps the 15% resistance. So yeah, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed it and see ya!